The power of stories shapes the way we learn. From the very beginning of time, stories have been the bridge between the human heart and the human mind. They carry more than just words. They carry truth, emotion, and memory. When you hear a story, something awakens inside of you. You lean in closer. You want to know what happens next. And in that moment, you are not just listening. You are receiving. You are taking in the rhythm, the sound, the flow of the language, and it begins to live inside you. Think about it. Children do not begin their journey with grammar books or vocabulary lists. No, they begin with stories, a mother's voice at night, a father's tale around the table, a teacher reading from a book. These are the first steps in learning language. The words are simple, but the meaning runs deep. The story creates pictures in the mind, and suddenly the language is no longer just sound, it is life. That is why stories are powerful for learning English. They do not come to you like rules on a page, they come to you like life itself. When you listen to a story, you do not just hear English, you feel it. You begin to see the connections between words. You begin to hear the rise and fall of the sentences. And slowly, without forcing it, you begin to carry the story with you. It becomes part of you. Have you ever noticed how a story can stay in your memory long after facts are forgotten? You might forget a list of vocabulary words in a week, but you will remember the story of a boy who learned courage, or a girl who faced a challenge, or a man who discovered hope. That is because the mind was made to hold stories. They cling to us, they travel with us, and every time you remember them, you are remembering the language too. Now some may say, I want to learn English quickly. I want to get to the grammar, to the rules, to the structure. And yes, there is a place for study. But the danger is this. If you remove language from story, you remove the life from it. You cannot expect to love a language if it only feels like rules. But when you hear it through story, the language has breath. It has warmth, it has meaning, and meaning is what keeps you moving forward. Think of the stories you hear on the news. Each report is not just words. It is a story about real people, real events, real struggles, and real victories. When you listen to those stories in English, you are not just practicing language. You are stepping into the lives of others. You are hearing how the world speaks, how it thinks, how it feels, and suddenly the language is no longer distant. It becomes close, it becomes alive. Do not underestimate the power of listening again and again. Each time you hear a story, you receive it more deeply. The first time it may sound fast. The second time you begin to catch words. The third time you hear sentences. By the 10th time, you can almost tell the story yourself. And when you speak it, even in your own words, you are no longer just repeating. You are creating. The story has taken root in you, and now it grows. This is how learning becomes natural, not forced, not mechanical, natural. Just as a tree grows from the sunlight and the rain, you grow from the stories you feed your mind with. If you choose to fill your days with English stories, you will not only understand more, you will speak more. And you will speak with confidence because the story gave you the courage to do it. So, my friend, if you truly want to learn, do not ignore the story. Do not rush past it. Embrace it. Listen with your heart, not just your ears. Let the story shape you. Let it guide you. Because the power of stories is not only in the telling. It is in the transformation they bring to your life. And that is why I tell you again, the power of stories shapes the way we learn. Listening carefully is the doorway to speaking confidently. If you do not first learn to listen, you will never find the courage or the strength to speak with clarity. Listening is not a passive act. It is not something you do with half of your attention while your mind drifts somewhere else. Listening is a discipline. It is a choice to lean in, to give yourself fully to the words you hear, and to let them take root deep within you. So many people want to speak English well, yet they rush ahead without listening enough. They think speaking comes first, but it does not. The voice you use tomorrow depends on the ears you train today. When you listen carefully, the rhythm of the language begins to settle in your heart. You hear how words connect, how sentences breathe, how emotion is carried not just by meaning, but by sound. This is how confidence begins, not by forcing words out, but by letting them flow in. Imagine a child learning to speak. For months, that child listens long before ever speaking a word. The child listens to the laughter, the tone of the parents, the sound of words repeated over and over. And then, one day, without textbooks, without lessons, the child opens the mouth and speaks. Why? Because listening built the foundation. Speaking simply followed. If it works for a child, it will work for you too. Now, some of you may feel frustrated. You listen to English news, English stories, English conversations, and it feels too fast, too heavy, too hard. But listen carefully, my friend. Every time you listen, you are stronger than before. Even when you do not understand every word, your mind is working, your ear is training, your heart is adjusting. Listening is like planting seeds. You may not see growth immediately, but something is happening beneath the surface. With time, those seeds break the ground and the harvest comes. Do not mistake careless listening for careful listening. Careless listening is when you hear sounds but let them pass by without attention. Careful listening is when you lean forward, when you give yourself to the speaker, when you listen not only with your ears, but with your whole being. Careful listening means you notice the rise and fall of the voice, the pause between words, the way sentences carry weight. And when you listen like that, you are not only hearing English, you are feeling it, you are understanding it, you are becoming it. Confidence in speaking grows out of this deep listening. Why? Because when the time comes to open your mouth, you are not reaching into emptiness. You are drawing from a well that is already full. You have stored up the sounds, the phrases, the patterns, and now they are ready to pour out. Confidence is not about knowing every word. Confidence is about knowing the voice within you has been trained by countless voices you have listened to before. Think of listening to the news in English. At first, it may overwhelm you. The sentences are long. The words are unfamiliar. The speed feels impossible. But keep listening. Do it again tomorrow. Do it again the next day. Slowly, the noise begins to turn into music. Slowly, the words begin to separate. Slowly, you begin to recognize patterns. And before long, you find yourself speaking about what you heard, telling the story in your own way. That is the doorway opening. Listening prepared you to walk through it. And let me remind you, confidence does not come from perfection. It comes from courage, the courage to speak, even if your sentences are not complete. The courage to share, even if your accent is still strong. That courage grows because you have listened carefully. You are not speaking from emptiness. You are speaking from a heart and mind filled with the rhythm of the language. So do not be discouraged if speaking feels far away. Do not give up if your tongue feels heavy or your words stumble. Keep listening carefully. Keep filling yourself with the sound of English, because one day, when the moment comes, the words will rise to the surface. They will be ready, and you will speak them with confidence. Listening carefully is the doorway to speaking confidently. You cannot grow in silence. Your voice must be heard. Silence may feel safe. It may feel comfortable, but it will never bring you the strength you desire. A seed kept in the darkness, never breaking through the soil, will never become a tree. It must push upward, it must stretch, it must break through. And in the same way, if you keep your English locked inside, if you never let your voice rise, you will never know the growth that is waiting for you. Many people study quietly. They read, they listen, They take notes, but they never open their mouths. They keep their language hidden inside, afraid of making mistakes, afraid of sounding wrong, afraid of being laughed at. But I tell you this, you cannot learn to swim by watching the water. You must step into it. You must move, you must struggle, you must find your balance, and only then do you begin to swim. Speaking is the same. You cannot stay silent and expect fluency to come. You must speak. When you speak, even when it feels broken, you are building strength. Every word that escapes your mouth is a step forward. Every sentence you try, even with mistakes, is part of the process. Mistakes are not your enemy, silence is, because silence keeps you trapped while mistakes push you forward. Mistakes show that you are alive, that you are learning, that you are reaching beyond where you were yesterday. And if you are reaching, then you are growing. Do not wait for perfect English before you speak, because perfect English will never come to those who wait. It comes to those who practice, who try, who stumble, who rise again. It comes to those who open their mouths in courage and let their voice be heard. Perfection is not the goal, communication is. And every time you speak, you are training yourself to communicate. You are showing yourself that your voice has power. Your family needs to hear your voice. Your friends need to hear your voice. The world needs to hear your voice. You may think, what difference does it make if I speak English with mistakes? It makes all the difference, because the moment you speak, you prove to yourself that you are no longer hiding. You prove that your thoughts matter, that your words have weight, that you are part of the conversation. Growth begins the moment you step out of silence. Think about it this way: a musician does not learn by keeping the instrument closed in its case. The musician learns by playing. The first notes may be rough, the sound may be uncertain, but with each attempt, the music becomes clearer. Your voice is the same. You may tremble at first, you may hesitate, but the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Speak in your home, speak with your friends, speak even to yourself if no one is around. But speak, because every sound, every attempt is shaping your fluency. I know some of you feel shy. Some of you feel the weight of fear every time you think about speaking English. But listen to me. Fear grows in silence. The longer you stay quiet, the stronger the fear becomes. But the moment you speak, even if your voice shakes, the fear begins to break. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is speaking in spite of it. And each time you do, your courage grows and your fear fades. Do not underestimate the power of your own voice. It carries more than just words. It carries your identity, your confidence, your future. When you let it be heard, you are telling the world, I am here, I am learning, I am growing. And with every word you speak, you take ownership of the language. It no longer belongs only to the books or the teachers. It belongs to you. So I say again, you cannot grow in silence. Growth requires sound, it requires courage, it requires the willingness to open your mouth and let your voice rise. Even if it rises slowly, even if it rises imperfectly, let it rise. For silence will hold you back, but your voice will carry you forward. You cannot grow in silence. Your voice must be heard. Everyday topics, even the news, can be your classroom. Too many people believe that learning English must always come from a textbook, from a classroom desk, or from carefully written lessons. They wait for the right course, the right teacher, the perfect material. But the truth is, the world around you is already filled with lessons. Every conversation, every article, every headline, every report is a chance to grow. The classroom is not limited to four walls. It is everywhere, if only you are willing to see it. Think about the news. Every day, stories are being told about people, about nations, about struggles, about victories. When you turn on the news in English, you are not only learning about the world, you are learning the language of the world. You hear real voices speaking in real situations about real events. You hear the words people use when they are serious, when they are hopeful, when they are afraid, when they are strong. These are the words you need. These are the expressions that will shape your understanding in your speaking. Do not dismiss everyday topics as unimportant. A simple conversation about the weather, about what you ate for breakfast, about what you saw on the street. These are the very building blocks of language. If you can speak about the simple things, you can build toward the greater things. A house is not built starting from the roof. It begins with the foundation. Everyday topics are that foundation. They are where you train your tongue, where you gain comfort, where you prepare yourself for deeper conversations. The news especially gives you a powerful tool. It is constantly changing, it is fresh, it is alive. And because of that, it never grows old. Today you may hear about a storm, tomorrow about an election, the next day about a new discovery. Each report adds new words to your mind, new patterns to your ear, new courage to your speech. If you make it a habit to watch or listen to the news in English, it will become your daily classroom. And the best part is, you do not need to pay for it. You do not need to wait for someone to hand it to you. It is there every day waiting for you to use it. Now, some will say, "But I don't understand everything. The news is too fast, too complicated." That may be true at first, but do not let that discourage you. Learning does not mean understanding everything right away. Learning means facing what you do not understand and staying with it until it becomes clear. The first time, it will feel heavy. The second time, you will notice a few more words. The third time, you will catch the meaning, and slowly, you will find yourself following along with confidence. The struggle itself is part of the learning, and remember this, English is not something you use only in lessons. It is something you live. If you treat every topic in your day as a chance to practice, you will discover you have a classroom everywhere you go. Reading a sign on the street, that is a lesson. Ordering food at a restaurant, that is practice. Talking about yesterday's news with a friend, that is growth. You cannot escape the opportunities because they surround you daily. The only question is, will you take them? Do not wait for the perfect moment to use your English. Use it now in the ordinary things. Talk about what you see, what you hear, what you think. If you read a story in the news, retell it in your own words. If you hear a conversation, repeat the phrases to yourself. If you see a headline, try to explain it aloud. Every effort, no matter how small, is a step forward, and step by step, the language becomes not just something you study, but something you live. The greatest mistake is to believe that learning can only happen in special places, with special tools. The truth is, learning happens in life itself. The news can be your teacher, your neighbor can be your partner, your daily conversations can be your lessons. If you open your eyes to it, every moment becomes a classroom. Everyday topics, even the news, can be your classroom. Consistency builds fluency, and practice makes it living truth. You cannot expect to master a language by touching it once in a while, by practicing only when you feel like it, or by waiting for the perfect mood to arrive. Fluency does not come to those who treat it as a passing thought. Fluency is born from steady, faithful effort, day after day, moment after moment, until what once felt heavy becomes natural, and what once felt foreign becomes familiar. Think of it like this. No farmer plants a seed today and expects to harvest tomorrow. The seed must be watered. The soil must be cared for. The sun must rise and set many times before the fruit appears. And so it is with language. A single lesson will not carry you. A single attempt will not change you. It is the daily practice, the steady rhythm, that brings the harvest of fluency. You must return to it again and again, until the roots are deep and unshakable. So many learners give up because they practice only once in a while. They expect quick results. They want fluency without the faithfulness. But hear me, without consistency, the flame dies out. Without practice, the language slips away. Fluency cannot be rushed. It is not built in one great effort, but in small, faithful steps, repeated again and again. That is why I tell you, make English a part of your life every single day. Even a little each day is far greater than much, done rarely. Practice is what turns knowledge into living truth. You may know the rules of grammar. You may recognize words on a page, but until you speak them, until you use them, until you practice them with your own voice, they remain lifeless. Practice breathes life into the language. Practice makes it real, makes it strong, makes it yours. And the more you practice, the more the language belongs to you. Do not be deceived into thinking practice must be long or complicated. It can be simple. Speak to yourself while you cook. Repeat what you hear in a story. Share what you learned with a friend. 10 minutes of honest practice, repeated daily, will build more fluency than hours of study done once a month. It is not the size of the practice that matters most. It is the faithfulness of it. Each day adds to the next, and together they build a mountain of progress. Consider the athlete who trains for a race. The strength does not come from one day of running. It comes from running day after day, building muscles, building endurance, until the body can carry the weight with ease. Speaking English is no different. Your tongue is a muscle. Your mind is a muscle. They must be trained, and training requires consistency. Practice is the track where your fluency is built. Without it, the race cannot be run. And yes, at times you will feel tired. At times you will feel discouraged. At times you will think this is not working. But if you keep going, if you stay faithful, if you practice through the doubt, you will wake up one day and realize the language flows from you. What once felt like struggle will now feel like freedom. What once felt like effort will now feel like ease. That is the reward of consistency. That is the fruit of practice. Do not look for shortcuts. Do not chase after quick fixes. The path to fluency is steady and sure. It requires patience. It requires discipline, but it also brings joy. Because every time you practice, you are proving to yourself that you are capable, that you are growing, that you are moving forward. And when you remain consistent, fluency will no longer be a dream. It will be your living truth. Consistency builds fluency, and practice makes it living truth. What you speak becomes who you are. Choose English with courage. The words that leave your lips are more than sound. They are the reflection of your mind, the expression of your heart, the evidence of your spirit. What you say shapes how others see you, but even more than that, it shapes how you see yourself. Every word you speak has the power to build you or to break you, to move you forward or to hold you back. That is why the language you choose to speak is so important, and if you have chosen to learn English, then you must speak it with courage. Too many people live in silence because they are afraid of mistakes. They hold their voice back because they fear judgment, they fear laughter, they fear being misunderstood. But let me tell you, silence will not protect you. Silence will not build you. Silence will only keep you small. You cannot grow if you hide your voice. You cannot rise if you lock your words inside. You must speak, and when you speak, you must do it with courage. Do not think of courage as the absence of fear. Courage is speaking even while fear still whispers in your ear. Courage is standing up when your knees shake, opening your mouth when your heart races, trying again when your last attempt was broken. Every time you speak English, even imperfectly, you are planting seeds of courage in your soul, and those seeds grow into confidence, into strength, into identity. What you speak becomes who you are. If you speak words of doubt, you will live in doubt. If you speak words of fear, you will remain in fear. But if you speak with courage, if you speak with hope, if you speak with faith, then little by little you become strong. English is not just a tool for communication. It is a mirror of your courage. Each word you speak boldly is another step toward becoming the person you want to be. Think about this. When a child begins to speak, no one expects perfection. The child stumbles, repeats, gets words wrong, but no one says, "Be silent until you can speak perfectly." No, the child is encouraged, celebrated, supported. Why? Because we know growth requires courage. And it is the same with you. Do not wait until your English is flawless. Do not hold back until every sentence is perfect. Speak now in courage, because every word you release is shaping you into the person who will one day speak with freedom. When you choose to speak English, you are choosing to step into a larger world. You are choosing to open doors, to connect with more people, to gain more opportunities. But you cannot step through that door with fear holding you back. Courage is the key. Courage is what allows you to take your English beyond the classroom, beyond the lessons, into real life. And real life is where true fluency is born. There will be moments when you feel embarrassed, when you forget a word, when you are corrected. Do not let those moments define you. Let them strengthen you. Each mistake is a teacher. Each correction is a step forward. Each time you dare to speak, you are becoming someone greater than you were before. And soon, you will look back and realize that courage carried you farther than perfection ever could. Never forget, language is identity. The words you use shape the person you become. If you speak with fear, your identity shrinks. If you speak with courage, your identity expands. So lift your head high, open your mouth. Speak English with courage, even when it feels hard, even when it feels uncertain. Because every word spoken in courage is building a stronger you. What you speak becomes who you are. Choose English with courage. Thank you for walking with me through these powerful lessons on learning English. Remember, stories shape you, listening opens doors, and your voice must rise. Everyday life is your classroom, consistency is your strength, and courage defines your words. If these messages inspired you, give this video a like and share it with a friend. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that will help you grow in English every day.